Gyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyen Gi Pe Sunam Ki Sangye Chudang Soki Choknam Ma Janchu Bardu Dagi Gyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyen Gi Pe Sunam Ki Jola Penchir Sangye Drupar Sho Sangye Chedang Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunam Gi Jola Penchir Sangye Drupar Sho Smokedy Dokedy.
These questions are for everyone. Not just somebody. Do we say that the debate between the functionalists and the numerists is a parallel example of the debate between the middle way and the functionalists? Please.
It was used as such, but it isn't actually parallel.
Good. Yeah. And then there's a little bit of explanation that you could give.
Because when the functionalists and numerists talk about sound, they already agree upon what sound is, but when the middle way and the functionalists talk about ultimate...
you talk about how a thing really exists.
Yeah, they disagree fundamentally.
Nice. Perfect.
Yay.
Thank you, word.
Tungo? What?
Tunnung.
Tunnung.
It's not a tunnung here.
It's not a tunnung.
Right, it depends on whether or not they have it. That's the way it's different.
There we go. They do have a common subject. The debate between the middle way and the functionalists, we say that they do not have a common subject, or a tunnung.
Gyaltsub.
Tunnung. Oh, Gyaltsub.
Maybe.
I know.
I've been in trouble. No, I think we do it.
Sub, I guess.
No, AB.
AB.
Yeah.
But he's the sub.
We've changed it a few times, but
we use it for the long U.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Man. What is an abbreviation that Gyaltsab used for exist by definition? And how does it relate to an idea in the Sautrantika school regarding archetypes and outer objects? Obviously.
Whoa.
I will not say a word.
I don't remember that. I mean, I don't remember what it is. I'm sure it happened.
It did. And
you'll know instantly. Yeah.
What was it?
Wrong
that's it. Wrong ten.
Oh, you're right.
Remember
Okay.
that? Yeah. Wrong ten. What does it stand for? What's the long form in Tibetan?
I don't know.
Rankitsani Kajupa.
Ooh.
And
Rankitsani Ki Drupa.
Sorry.
I
thought you said. And then anybody could say how, and this is tricky, and I kind of just wrote it as a homework question because I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, and I'm hoping Geshe-la will lend some more clarity to the idea.
The opposite of a wrong sentence, Sautrantika.
Yeah. That's how you would say it relates to the...
I would say, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like, so what's the opposite of wrong sen in Sautrantika? Wrong sen as opposed to...
Yeah.
Jitsen, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would say,
right.
yeah. So, what's one possibility of how the Rankitsani Kajupa and Rangten relate to each other? The Rankitsani Kajupa, as our author keeps using it, and the idea of Rangten in Sautrantika.
Oh, right, something with the elimination, right?
It's pretty simple. I mean, it seems like he's saying that they're the same thing.
Really?
But I don't know. Maybe Geshe-la will. Maybe it'll get more clear as the text progresses.
It's good. We're going deeper on it.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Get clearer now.
Clearer, I can't promise.
Okay.
Deeper, I can promise.
All right. Ooh. What are the Tsul Trupche?
It's a 3 confirmation steps.
Whoa!
Bam! Mole butts.
What do masters Dignaga and Chandrakirti agree about with respect to them? What do they disagree about?
Oh man!
Come on, Tim, keep it coming, man.
This is the end of class.
You got this. Now, weren't you a philosophy major?
I was.
Okay, Dr. Philosophy major.
I got a master's, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Undergrad. It's only an undergrad. So the rest of you guys, he's got a master's over here. Come on, Seiji. What do you got?
Not this environment.
Don't make me bust out my GED.
Good enough.
You need Earl, who's actually been to jail.
He's degenerating into a vacation already.
Any other-
Come on.
Few minutes,
All right,
almost
should I,
starts.
what
I
do
don't
they
know.
agree about with respect to them? What do they disagree about?
Give us
with
a
them?
hint.
They disagree.
Remember?
Yeah, give us a hint.
Oh, well, it wasn't, okay, here's a hint that might help. It's not that Master Dignaga said he didn't think that about them, but he didn't say that he, it's not that he said he did think a certain thing about him, it's just that he didn't say that he didn't.
Oh, for God's sake.
And Master Chandrakirti.
That made it worse.
Master Chandrakirti.
What kind of hint is that?
It helped him, look at him.
No, does it have to do with that?
It has to do with the thing.
That a reason that
Yeah.
syllogism has any power from its own side.
Yeah, that's all. The thing that we've been discussing.
No, you sure?
Beginningless time.
Who would have thought? On the topic.
They agree on what a self-powered reason would be.
Oh.
They disagree whether it's possible that they could exist.
Oh, good.
That's true.
Okay, good.
That's cool.
And what is the Utpala theory of which of the words in the syllogism reflects this?
Rangyu, right?
What is
No,
it?
the classic Bhava Vivekan syllogism.
The Utpala theory.
Oh.
Consider some.
Ultimately, right?
No, Baba Vivekan syllogism.
Yeah, ultimately.
Ultimately.
Oh.
That's your position. I like it. You clarified the whole
Yeah, it
thing.
was really clear.
Is this something I missed in class?
That's the word that
No,
must have power from its
first
own
class.
side.
Must have power.
That the word I doesn't have.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, Daki.
If you have to add ultimately, you already contradicted yourself.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then for 1,000 extra points.
Because according to you, people are going to take it to be self-existent. So you have to add ultimately, but then ultimately becomes self-existent.
And then you're in big trouble.
1,000 extra points?
Yeah.
I'm interested. Does this, yeah. Does this translate into any dollars?
Not touching the numbers.
Is that why you're going for a loan to pay me off when I get this 1,000?
I gotta make the seeds. Yeah. No, it's 1,000 extra points. The dollar signs are just to draw your attention.
Yes. You know us well.
If someone accepts reasons that don't have their own power, does that make them unfit to be called a middle way thinker?
I think you wanted to say do.
No.
That do have their own power.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
If somebody accepts reasons that, yeah, sorry, you're totally right. Yeah. Duh.
Because that you just described the Prasangika.
Right. Thank
No
you.
problem. Yes.
No, they should be kicked out of the middle way.
No, they should not.
Say so.
All right, Ben gets the 1,000 extra points.
Yay.
That's why. What do you say?
They
Spend
compare
them
it.
in the
They
next
compare it
life.
to a monk who.
Oh, who?
Oh,
All right. He doesn't have to be kicked out of the
Pound
monastery.
brewskis.
He's just a jerk.
they just broke their vows.
Yeah,
They didn't lose their vows.
yeah. They just think that reasons have their own power once they drink a couple.
And you gotta think,
Same guy.
you gotta think that he's implying that their positions are like a drunkard, like the prattling of a drunkard. You know.
It's not so clear.
Yeah, you gotta think you gotta think there's a little bit of sarcasm there.
New Yin.
He was probably the most famous sarcastic person in Tibetan history.
Ooh, which one?
Gyaltsab Je.
He totally got taken by that girl.
Yeah, he got beaten by the girl.
Oh, really?
The cow poop. That's
Was that like Baju Yogin? Wasn't that kind of like Baju
Yeah.
Yogin?
Yeah.
Young Chenma. All right, can you take the plane, please?
All right.
Thanks.
We're approaching turbulence. Please put on your
Main city.
seat. Just hold that pee-pee.
All electronic items of the world.
I'm not putting my table in the upright position.
We really are approaching turbulence,
All right, we believe you.
which you can tell from the number of English words here.
Put your head in your lap. As you're busting
Assume the
by.
crash position.
Okay, please read.
Te mi nepo tempe kelang te so.
Shema.
Te tana drang champa sange partel. Pumpo takme tu kelang te che.
This is a really sexy. I mean, it's a very sophisticated. Deni Ngopo Denpa Ke Lambi So. Te means those Svatantrikas. Okay.
Right.
By the way, and
Those
the
were-
implication is they should get kicked out.
Right.
Don't tell me they shouldn't be kicked out. They should be kicked out. Why? There's the instrumental
Shin, huh?
there because they accept that
Long.
things are true, or especially that functioning things have reality,
Yeah.
which is a functionalism.
Right.
That makes them mind only at best. You see, got it?
Because they're
The first three
functionalists.
schools are
Yeah.
functionalists.
Yeah.
So he's saying they are functionals. You see, it's like, so
Functional.
that makes them functionalists, so let's kick them out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if they believe that gasoline has something in it that can make a car go, then they're kicked out of the fourth school.
Yeah.
Okay? Because, by the way, what did they say? What ngopo did they say was Demba?
What Ngopo did they say was Denpa? The ultimate eye.
The
Reasons.
Svatantrika?
The word ultimately.
Yeah.
The word ultimately.
anything that it's
In a
applied to.
syllogism. No, in a syllogism.
Oh, all right.
The word ultimately had power that you see?
To make the Nago and the Chigo agree on a template.
Tunang.
Yeah, have it.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. Okay? We should kick them out because they believe in the reality of functioning things, which he wants that to be a functionalist,
Yeah.
which pretty much is the description of functionalist.
Things are
Okay.
from a functioning.
You know? Then the answer is cool. Well, then Sankhya should be Buddhists
Yeah.
because they believe in no self.
Yeah, but
Because they believe, oh, wow, cool.
Okay? Because they believe the heaps have no self nature. They believe the heaps are not Atman.
No self.
No, they believe
Oh, they're not the.
they think the
self.
soul is separate from the
Yeah,
pumbas.
yeah.
Okay? They believe that the body and mind of a human being does not have Atman, God, Atman, capital A. Okay? They believe he's separate from the parts of a human being. So we can say they believe in no self. So according to your logic, they should be Buddhists.
Mhm.
If you can say no self-believer
Makes you Buddhist.
makes you a Buddhist, then Sankhyas are Buddhists. Because according to you, reality working thing believers are functionalists.
Right.
that's right.
Because the word matches the.
Yeah. Just because the word kind of fits. Got it?
Yeah.
It's a reverse argument.
Yeah.
It's funny. He didn't say you're wrong.
Yeah.
He just said, oh, well, then Sankhya's are Buddhists, I guess. They don't believe this. They don't believe the person is the self.
Mhm.
They don't believe in the person of the self. Yeah, because they believe God called person who made a self.
Easily.
Okay? Yeah. Okay, got it? It's kind of cool. All right. Please. Okay, Dhamma Drup. Please read.
Oh, tema chup che serna, teyang ma chupo.
Yeah, you can say Dhamma Drup, but you're wrong. Okay? You can say Dhamma Drup, but you're wrong. You can say the function. You can say the Sankhya don't believe that Atman is the body and mind of a human, but you're wrong. You cannot say Dhamma Drup. They do believe Atman is not the body and mind of a human. Okay? So you can try to say that, but you would be wrong. You can't say Dhamma Drup to my reason that I gave you. Okay? You can say that it doesn't apply,
Yeah, you could say.
which is the way we would want to go.
Of course.
But even he's almost like, I'm not going to go there.
Skipped a line.
Did no,
Nah.
he didn't.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, I just got so many notes to myself. Okay,
Ngapor ngapor pe chupar kelan pe cheer chena. Well, then kicked them out because they. Someone may say.
I think, you see, there's a chena here.
Oops.
Okay. and then he has a cheer statement,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Huh.
And then he starts another shina.
Huh.
So you would think that this cheer statement has to connect to this china, and that, but it doesn't. It has. I don't believe it has anything to do with that. This is one of those statements where you start out because he's a fool. Everything he does is not so cool. Something like that. Okay. So I think he just leaves this one hanging. Okay. I believe you have to cut it from the other ones.
So this is a cheer.
And if you're going to come back, well then, we should kick them out because they prove the existence of things with logic, meaning demba things, true things, real things. And then he doesn't answer it. You know, tell what? Tell me we should kick them out because they prove things are whoopals. Then he just goes on. Okay, tell me we should kick them out because they prove things are working things, meaning they prove they use proofs to prove things that involves working things. Therefore, they are functionalist. Therefore, we should kick them out. Then he doesn't even answer it. He's like, okay. You know, they mention the word working thing in their proofs. So they're proving something true about working things. So they accept the trueness of working things. So they are functionalists? Huh, let's go on. You know, I think he's not even answering. Okay? It's difficult. It's nasty.
In order to make this somewhat accessible, might we
Oh yeah, no, you
add some
you
explanation
massage it.
brackets?
Or maybe you massage it. Yeah. I believe. I mean, I may look at it again next term and say I'm wrong, but it's what it feels like to me right now.
Okay.
Okay, because the next argument, the cheer, which involves chepas, is explained in the next lines, not in the previous lines. Nobody says chepa here. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Should I read it?
Yeah, and you wrestle with it a little bit, and then I'll tell you how wrong you are.
Cool. Perfect. Te kyang pungpo che par kelang pe chie. Chepa yina dakme yimpe kya kyang chepa kelang pa ba la dakme kelang pe ma kya bo shena. Te kyang also except that the skandhas are made. Those guys also accept that the skandhas are produced?
Let me just do it for you. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's
Does the lower middle way school accept that the heaps are made?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And do the Sankhya's believe that the heaps are made?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they accept heaps as such, but I mean, they
Yeah.
divide it
A
differently.
body and mind. Would they say that the body and mind are made?
Yeah.
By Atman or by Prakriti or by something?
They do.
Okay. And can we say that if something is made, it has to be dangme? Can we say that if something is made, it has to have no self?
Yes.
We can say that.
Yes.
If the pen is a created thing,
I would've got
it
that.
cannot be coming from its own side.
Every
Can we say that?
school agrees with that, right?
Yeah, we can say that.
Maybe it
Kyam
And the
kyang.
Sankhya's maybe, yeah.
Therefore, so what I'm saying is,
Makya.
I believe what he's saying is, look, I can accept. I can go so far as to say that those Sankhya's, okay, believe that things are made. But I'm not saying that just because they believe that things are made, they have to believe that things have no self. I'm not going that far. Okay, Shina. Okay, I'm not going there. Okay, that's not where I'm going. Then we say, okay, well, dear Yang Tsung, well, it's the same thing here. Okay, it's the same thing here. If you accept that working things are real, okay, sorry, if you don't accept that working things are real, I'm sorry.
If you accept
Since they don't accept that working things are real, And since they do accept that all things are unreal, I'm sorry. If you if you don't agree that working things are real, and if you do say that everything is unreal, how does that automatically make you a Madhyamikan?
He's kind of going back and forth.
Okay, how does that automatically make you a Madhyamikan? It must mean that the Sankhya's in some way say that working things are not what you thought they were. Meaning they don't look like creations of Atman and Prakriti, but they are.
They do.
Okay, so they don't accept that things are real. They don't accept that things are what you think they are. That's true.
Yeah.
Most people in the universe never figure out that these are all creations of Atman and Prakriti, but special people do. Okay, so most people are believing in something that's not real.
Right.
Okay, they don't accept a reality which is as it seems. Okay, and in that sense, they do accept that everything is unreal. But does that make them a Madhyamikan? Does that make Sankhya's a Madhyamikan?
Right.
Okay, he's complaining that just because the general description, they don't accept working things as real, could be applied to lower middle way, that doesn't mean they're a functionalist.
Right.
That doesn't make them a functionalist. That
Otherwise,
which would kick them out of the Madhyamika club. Okay, so that's where this whole argument is. And it's hard, and we probably have to go through it again. Okay.
It's kind of like this text kind of became a drupta a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, it's just throwing out
For a moment.
Yeah.
failures.
Yeah. Now he says drupta on the next line.
Oh,
I just noticed.
cool.
Deke mawa te ni
Okay.
kyapcha kelang na kyapche kelang batang lang pe kepar ma chepar se pe drupta mawa tamche chulwar kyote chul.
Yeah, there's our chul.
Jumbo.
Yeah.
The last, so read the last line, and whatever the first two lines saying, they're supposed to be the cause for the last line.
Drupta mawa tamche chul. So this become all mixed up, like all the proponents in the drupta.
Then all the schools of philosophy get
are all
jumbled up.
Jumbled up with each other.
Yeah. Sankhyas are accepting some Prasangika stuff.
Uh-huh.
Lower middle way are functionalists.
Yeah.
The whole distinction between the schools gets messed up if we go your way. Okay, if we say kyabja, kyabje. Okay, so this argument depends on kyabja, kyabje. Okay, like cars and Toyotas. Kyabja.
Kyabja.
General and specific?
Wait, kyabja is toys or Toyotas or cars?
Cars, the object. No?
That's the kyabje.
Oh, interesting.
That's the
What John J.
includer.
BYED.
Yeah, BYED means the includer. Kyabje is cars. The kyaber is cars as a category. The kyabja is Toyotas.
The thing that covers.
Yeah, the coverer.
Covered.
The coverer
Yeah.
is cars. The covered is
Got
Toyotas.
it. John
Okay.
thought, yeah.
So here it's kind of like the coverer is anyone who says things are unreal must be saying things are unreal the way Madhyamika does.
Right.
Okay, so if a Sankhya says things are unreal, okay, it means anyone who says that something is unreal, it must be Madhyamika. Okay, and anyone who says that some of the pen comes from the pen must be a functionalist. Okay, so you're accepting. What you're saying is, kyabja kyabje ki kyaba. Kyabja kyabje ki kyaba.
The kyabja is anything.
Must come from.
No, it's always the case
Yeah.
that if you're a kyabje, you're the kyabja. Any car is a Toyota. Okay, any car is a Toyota, because anyone who says anything is real is unreal. Anyone who says anything is unreal must be Madhyamika, because they say things are unreal. So if a Sankhya comes along and says, you know, your pen came from Prakriti and Atman and Ishvara or whatever, right? What's soul?
What? Brahma,
The
prime
mover.
mover. Purusha.
Prime.
No, it's Prakriti.
Oh, what was Purusha? What was
I
that?
think Prakriti is Rangshin, but anyway.
That's
Yes,
what
it's
I
both.
Anyway, so okay, you normal people who weren't lucky enough to be born into our caste, you know, when you look at things, you don't understand that it's all an emanation of Ishvara. Okay, so the things you're believing in something that's not real. Okay, if you think the pen was made in a factory, you're accepting something that's not real as real, because what's real is the pen that was made by Ishvara, who built the factory too. Okay, got it?
You are deceived.
So do Sankhya people run around saying things are not the way you think they are?
definitely.
Yeah, does that make them Madhyamika?
No.
It does too, because anyone who says a thing works is a functionalist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rigpa Gotsun,
Mm-hmm.
parallel logic. And if you keep insisting that if someone accepts the kyabja, the kyabje, they must be accepting the kyabja, then all the school systems get messed up. Then everybody believes everybody else's thing. Okay? If anyone who says something is unreal is a Madhyamikan, then Sankhya's become Madhyamikans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Okay, if you want to kick the Svatantrikas out,
Out of the Madhyamika.
you have this problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Off the top of your head, but how would you translate kyabja?
Yeah, that's a difficult set and subset sometimes. I don't know.
I mean, quality and characteristics is
No, it's not
taken
teaching
out,
that.
right?
Yeah, maybe set and subset. Okay, that's because when I grew up, when I was in elementary school, they thought it was important to teach us set and subset. Same with you? Are you in my era? They thought it was important to teach sets and subsets.
In mathematics?
Yeah,
In
They taught us to.
yeah. So it's in my mind, but I'm not sure it's in people's minds nowadays. I don't know. Okay. Okay, go.
Tumma niki kyan chepa tam che den me kyumma tabur kelang par gyurte tentrel du kelang te.
Yeah, okay. He's giving an example of a drupe ta tamche chulwa. He's giving an example of how the schools would all start to overlap each other and stuff like that. We'd end up with a jumbo school, Siddhanta jumbo. Here's an example. Dunmani.
The two lower schools.
Well, read it first.
Oh,
I'll make fun of your pronunciation.
I think I read it. I just read
Oh, I'm sorry.
it.
Okay, the Dunma. What's a Dunma?
It's probably talking about the Chedamawas. Well, he's talking about object. People who profess outer objects.
Yeah, good. Chiro Dundumawa.
He's talking about the lower two.
Chiro Dundumawa. Yeah, it's the lower two schools who say that there are outer objects. It can't be the third school, right? Cannot be.
Because they're,
Cannot be the third school. Yeah.
although sometimes we say
They're the main ones who say they're inner. Okay. Okay. Dunma Nikyang. They both accept Kelang that all made things, Chepa, all made things are Denme, Gumatabu, are
they're
unreal.
without truth.
They're
Like
unreal.
the illusion.
I would say unreal, yeah. They're unreal, they're like an illusion.
Uh-huh.
Okay? They must, according to you, they must accept it.
Yeah.
According to you, then, since the schools overlap and jumbled up, then the two lower schools would have to accept the idea that every made thing in the universe is an illusion, is not itself. Okay, according to you. Why? Why do you say that? Because they accept Dendo.
Mm-hmm.
And Dendo Yina, Denme Yimbe Kyab. Who's the Kyabje? Who's the Kyabja? Tendel Yina, if something's dependently originating, Demba Mayimbe Kyab. It cannot be real. This is Madhyamika.
Oh, so
What's the kyabje?
kyabje is someone who accepts dependent origination.
No,
Kapcha.
being dependent is the kyabje.
Oh,
Being unreal is what?
the kyabja.
Kyabja, yeah. If it's dependent,
Then
it
it's
must
not.
be unreal.
Uh-huh.
If it's a car, sorry, I got it backwards.
No, that's right.
Not really.
Go the other way.
If it's a Toyota, it must be a car.
He's saying because
Yeah.
they accept dependent origination, then they accept the things on Earth.
If you're gonna mix up kyabjas and kyabjes, then all cars must be Toyotas.
Yeah, so all things that are dependent are illusions.
No, anyone who accepts that things are dependent
Accepts
must
it.
be a Madhyamikan.
Yeah.
Because Madhyamikans say that all dependent things are unreal. Therefore, the lower schools believe that all things are unreal. Why? Because they say things are dependent. So according to you, if someone accepts the kyabje, they must accept the kyabja. Okay? Cool? I'm very, very sorry to announce that we are entering something I understand. So he kind of, by the way, he can't let go of this argument that he can't let go of debating the lower middle way school, and he hasn't touched the root text in the 6 months. You know, he went off on the lower middle way. We're still arguing about the lower middle way. You know, the whole point here is if somebody wants to kick him out of the Madhyamika, and we're saying no, you can't. You know, but he hasn't come back to the root text for the longest time.
It's been quite a while.
You know, he's just ranting. Which means either this is going to be a really long text,
But you know it's
or he speeds up later. And you know, it's striking how many texts speed up later. You know, they say, okay, that's enough. You know, pussyfooting around. Let's get down to the root verses. Okay, he hasn't done a root verse in the longest time.
we're up to like 3 or something, maybe 4.
By the way, now he's going to start to speed up. It's like when certain high lamas teach the 8 verses, they always spend like 3 days on the first one, and then they do 7 on the last day. Yeah. Okay. You've seen it many times. Okay, go ahead.
Nipa Sharchunla Nisu Tawe Midrol Pon Tempatang
Tempa.
Tempatang
Yeah.
Nime Tope Joan Tentao.
I'm taking a refreshment break, and you guys are translating. By the way, I'm going to give you the Nipa for free. It was the longest time ago. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Okay, so here it is. It was inside of his refuting the extreme view that things could exist. Okay?
The way they appear.
The way they appear. And this bold is still I snipped it from before. This is our second major division from above. Refute the extreme view that things could exist the way they appear. We begin with a proof by absurdity, Telngyur, and then we cover some incidental points.
So we're up to the incidental points.
And by the way, yeah, and you forgot his proof of absurdity. It was, that if things were real the way non-Aryas perceive them to be,
And they would have already
then
achieved that.
wouldn't they already be arhats or something like that?
Right, they would, or Aryas.
Okay, yeah, that was our.
He said arhats, and then he clarified that it was not just that people achieve arhat after
Oh, okay.
seeing it.
So anyway, I mean that was very many months ago. Okay, and that everything that came since then is this one verse, which is a Telngyur. It's a proof of absurdity. You know, oh, if children could see that, then they'd already be enlightened. Okay, then he says, then I'm going to tell you some incidental stuff that relates to it. We reached the incidental stuff. Okay, and now he's going to speed up.
Cool.
He's going to get back to the root text. I think someone told him, look, I thought this was a commentary. You know, you can just feel he met somebody on the road in the monastery, and the guy's like, "I've been reading your new book, but when are you going to comment on the 60 verses?" You know, it's not the 3 verses; it's the 60 verses. Okay, you can translate this part.
Nisutawe.
So sharchung means incidental points. Rinpoche used to constantly burn it into my mind. He'd say, Chongi Sharla. Shorla in the colloquial, Shorla, not Shar. Tsongkangi Chola Dulotru. On your incidental to going to the store to buy all my groceries today, can you also wash my clothes? That was a typical day for me, okay? So shorla means, your main job is to buy groceries. But shorla, could you wash my clothes? Okay. On the way, by the way. It means by the way. In scripture, it means, okay, I finished fighting this huge war. Here's some mop-up things. Here's a few mop-up things. Mop-up means after a major battle, there's still a few guys left alive and you take care of them. It's called mop-up. Like mopping the floor. So he said, okay, the battle's over. I killed almost everybody. Now I'm just going to clean up a little bit. Okay, here we go.
So does it say that if you have these 2 viewpoints, then you're not if you're relying on this 2 ways of seeing the world, you're not free? And if you
that would be Tawanyi.
Tawanyi. Yeah.
That would be. This is Nisa Tawa.
Duality, like a mind
Exactly.
free from duality.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as you, here's the real word duality. Here's the real word duality.
Essentially duality, not
And-
discrepancy?
Well, I like to call it discrepancy.
Same word.
I like to call it discrepancy because duality is so confusing. No subject, no object. That's not the point of Buddhism. To say that there's no Seiji when Seiji looks at his computer. That's not dualism. Dualism is pen appearing to be coming from its own side, and the pen really not coming from its own side. That's discrepancy. That's seeing things double. V took some medicine, really strong medicine, and I remember she's sitting she sat down in front of the door and she looked at me and she said, "There's 2 of you." And I'm like, okay, we gotta get to bed. And it was hard to get her into the bed. It was too strong. And for her stomach thing.
Wow.
And it was really funny. Anyway, it wasn't funny, but that's seeing things double. In English, we say seeing things double. They look to be from their own side, but they're not. Okay, so it looks like the discrepancy is real, but it's not. Things are not. It looks like things are self-existent, but they're not. That's dualism. Okay, and then to perceive that things are not two, and here he uses. Notice the change in verb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First thing, imagine that things are dual, and then realize that they are not. Tawa and tokpa. You see, to view things as dual, and then to realize that they are not. It implies that the second one is true. He changed the verb.
Right.
He changed the verb.
Oh.
Okay.
So freedom from seeing them that way, and then the freedom of knowing that they're not.
Nope.
Yeah, what's the
Show,
me draw?
yeah, you got an S there. That's enough of a clue.
Yeah, because you're seeing things with this discrepancy, you're not free. And then
I'm gonna demonstrate to you why, if you don't see emptiness, you will never be freed, and why, if you do see emptiness, you will
become free.
become free.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's a pretty cool incidental point. I mean, come on.
Seems so
Yeah, it's interesting than calling Sankhya's Madhyamikans, but it seems like it'd be more important, but it's incidental.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how you.
As long as you continue to view things as a discrepancy,
Yeah.
you will never be free. And when you get over the discrepancy, you will be free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it?
Yep.
don't forget the bold part here is just to catch you up to where you were,
Right.
including the absurd statement.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, here we go.
Oh, we're back to root text?
Yay!
That's
I
exciting.
actually had to go check that it was root text.
Yeah.
I said, maybe this is root text.
That's so
it is,
exciting.
yeah, he went back to the root text. I didn't bold it. I didn't have time. I didn't put the verse number. You can do all that.
Yeah, just made my day.
Yeah.
I'll bold anything.
And it's understandable without a commentary,
Ooh.
which is even hotter. Okay. And it's understandable without a commentary. So you can translate it.
Je pain nam par min chote, me pe si pa dile min. Je pain.
And it calls back to the opening lines of prajna, wisdom,
Uh-huh.
nagarjuna.
Yeah, thinking that things exist, you'll never get free.
Mm-hmm.
Me pe si pa. When you realize that's impossible. Oh,
No.
no, if you think things don't.
Good. If you
exist.
think things don't exist,
Yeah,
you will never.
you'll
This is
also
sipa
not-
as in sipe corlo.
Yeah. Oh, you'll never. I guess he's saying you'll never get out of the wheel.
Yeah, you'll never get out of this suffering life.
Yeah, but he says
Okay.
delay min, like it's not.
Out of this suffering life. You'll never get out of this suffering life.
Oh, so he's referring back to the troll.
Not really. Let's go see what he
Oh.
calls it.
Thinking
Oh,
yapa,
Can
you
be
can't
a-
get free.
Oh, he's
Thinking
just saying-
mepa, you can't get out of the wheel.
Get out, but mins.
Yeah.
It's
Lay.
not.
Yeah, you never get out.
Yeah.
Let's see what verb he chooses to use when he gets to it. Okay.
My,
Okay. Here we go. This is from this piece is actually understandable.
Ooh.
Okay.
Good.
So we're probably going to go back to not thinking
followed
too
by
much.
more root text?
Probably, it's probably the rest of that same verse. Oh.
Then he quotes the Rinchantala,
Oh,
Ratnamala.
Ratnamala. Cool.
Yeah.
Fun. No
It's also called Ratnabali. It has two names. It has both names. Yeah.
Nopo la rangshin yipatawe kyang sipa kor wa le nampar midro te ni te rab kuntu tendro trepu tang chorwa tewe trepu chen yimpe chir lendre me partawe kyang sipa korwandi le jolwan yorwa minte.
Yeah, he gave you a verb for after delay. He gave you a verb to use when you translate the root text.
Right, because that min was a little.
Yeah. Can't get out of.
Uh-huh.
Can't be liberated from.
Cool.
Okay? So you're allowed to go use that in the root text.
Cool.
Okay?
That's-
Because it'd be kind of weird to say, if you think they're not,
Yeah.
there's no from here,
Right.
or something like that. It doesn't make sense.
uh-huh.
Okay. So, view, tawa means to view, right? As a verb,
So-
okay?
oh.
When there's no be, it's a noun,
Uh-huh.
a viewpoint.
Ah,
With a be, it means to see, to look at, to view. So when you view things as if they had,
their own nature.
I strongly prefer some nature of their own. Some nature of their own.
Some nature of their
You
own.
debunk it even in your translation. Okay? When you look at things as if they had some nature of their own, okay? Then that proves you know what the hell you're talking about. That there's no such thing. Okay? You know, when you talk about something that's not there,
Oh, I
you
see.
usually go like this, or we have a
Some-
intelligent president.
So
Like, you usually do something to indicate.
Yeah.
some nature of their own
In
makes
this
it
case,
sounds like
it
a
speaks
stupid
for
idea,
itself.
basically.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
Some.
Yeah, what some weird nature of its own? Because to refer to it as the nature of its own is a huge mistake.
Yeah,
To call it a nature of its own is a medium mistake.
or its own.
To
nature.
call it some nature of its own is precise.
Cool.
Okay, and I really want you to get in that mood. For me, to be honest, if I open a book and it says the nature, I throw it immediately in the garbage. If it says a nature of its own, I'll give the guy 5 minutes. If it says some nature of its own, then this guy knows what he's talking about. because he's talking about something that can't exist and he knows it.
The as if kind of helps. though.
Yeah, as
You
if
look
it's
at things
fine.
As if it
it's
had
fine.
its own nature, but I hear you.
Yeah,
The sum makes
yeah.
it.
Anytime you refer to a gakcha,
Mhm.
you should put it down somehow.
Mhm.
It's like the opposite of the tantric vow about your lama.
Mm.
Yeah, the tantric vow about your lama is you have to say the
Lama, yeah.
incomparable. We're going to get in your text. They're about to say, I heard for this from the incomparable, beautiful, holy lips of the great. And then they give a lama's name. And then I was thinking, wow, we can date him now. We knew who his lama was. And my approximate date was wrong. So now we can date him more correctly. Because of how he goes off on the lama, you know. It's very probably his root lama then. But the opposite is, when you get to a gotcha, for God's sake, don't talk about it as if it were real. Okay? Because it ain't. Okay? All right. Okay, go.
I think I read the whole.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Try to.
When you view things as if they had some nature of their own, okay? You will never tulwa
Become liberated
from sipa,
Sipa Korwa.
which here is a synonym for korma.
Right.
Who said that?
You did?
You did?
No.
What do you mean?
Ari Nagarjuna.
Oh yeah. we
No.
were-
Root text.
No.
Let's see the root.
Who's putting korwa next to sipa to explain it?
Oh.
Gyaltsabje, the commentator.
Right. Right.
Oh,
he's
hey
just-
guys, there's a lot of sipas. This one means korwa.
He's glossing Sipa.
Yeah, he's glossing sipa.
Yeah,
It's in a positive.
yeah.
So, translate it that way.
Mm,
Because that's going to be in italics already.
for sure.
This. Now you can be less precise when you translate sipa because he clarified it. So you don't have to say suffering life. You can say from life.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says life in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody knows what you're talking about. Wait till day.
Teni tsera kuntu dendro.
Yeah.
Tsera.
Dani, okay. I'm gonna go there, but let's get the words down, okay?
Cool.
Tserab,
It's this time.
all your future lives. Future lives.
String of lives.
Yeah. Rab with an S doesn't mean highest.
Mhm.
It means string of lifetimes, okay? Tserabs. It also means a ford across a river. So there's a hell called Rab Me, the river which cannot be forded.
One of the
Okay.
partial hells.
I guess it is.
Adjacent or whatever.
Yeah, so then it's,
Yeah.
in all of your future lives, you will get a result of dendro,
Happiness.
opposite of
Hell. Oh, I know what you're saying. Semchenyoa.
nyen,
Nyensong.
nyensong. Yeah, it's the opposite of nyensong.
Oh, right.
What's
Turi.
nyensong?
Turi.
The hell
And
realms.
some is the
Lower-
Yeah,
lower
yeah,
realms.
yeah, yeah. So dendro means the higher three
Higher
realms.
bad wind.
Yeah, the good goings.
Good goings.
Devo, you will get a result of a good rebirth, and you will get a result of good feelings, pleasant feelings. Devo chen yimbe chen. Devo me partawe chir lay, but if rather than that, okay, I'm sorry.
Huh?
No, this lay is karma, I take it back. Yimbe chen, len de, me parta, but if you hold the viewpoint that there's no karma and consequences, if you hold the viewpoint that there's no karma and consequences, neither then would you be freed from this sipa, which means korwa. Okay, so he's giving, this is the explanation of me in the verse.
Right.
Min.
So there's two
Okay.
mistakes you can make.
Yeah.
You can believe that ngopos have a function, or you can believe that there's no karma and consequences,
Right.
me. And let's go back to the verse.
Yeah.
Those who believe that things are don't get freed, and those who believe that things aren't also don't come free. Okay.
Neither do, yeah.
Okay, but Gyaltsab hands us what they think
Yeah.
exists means
Knowledge.
functional things that have a nature, and then what he thinks that don't exist
Metta.
is karma and its consequences. Now, you gotta read this adjectival clause comes after what it modifies. Okay, so it's weird.
The result of
A belief in karma and its consequences is the cause of going to higher birth in all your rebirths, and it is the cause for the result of good feelings. And because of that, if rather you think that there is no such lende, so lende here, karma and its consequences, he doesn't introduce it clearly. He's introducing it in weird language.
he's tying it to the
Yeah.
karma result of having a happier rebirth, and he's saying, but if you don't believe in that kind of
Well, he should have probably put a period here or something, you see? It should have been 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Look, if you do believe in karma and consequences, everything's cool, period. But if you don't believe in karma and consequences, the same thing's going to happen to you as the Yupa guy,
yeah,
as the guy I described first, okay, who believes that everything does exist,
yeah.
okay? So it's a very confusing syntax here. But it's clear what it has to mean. Okay? In general, a belief in karma and its consequences will lead you to the higher birth and to good feelings. Stop. But if you don't believe in it, if you view that it doesn't exist, mepar, that's in the root text, then you're not going to get free from this samsara either. So whether you believe that things exist or whether you believe that things don't exist, the result is the same.
Yep. Got it.
Really?
In these 2 ways.
Well, no, because he's talking about the positive
In
results
these
of
2
not
ways.
thinking that way in the first place.
Yeah, he introduces it.
In a positive-
And then, by the way, I'm going to re-add this to the sentence. I'll just read this and then we'll stop. Right? I'm out of time.
we're out of time.
Yeah, okay. So, nyepa tamjeki chungne se kirpa. This is the word for ratnakara, akara, which means the source, like the spring from which the water comes. Yeah, the source for every problem that could ever happen to you, kirpa, and the source
All bad going.
for all bad rebirth, and the source for
Crappy
all crappy feelings. That thing which has that result is to the viewpoint that karma and consequences don't exist.
Which
Okay.
came earlier in the text as well.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. He's got karma and its consequences. Everything before is what happens if you do believe in it, and everything after is what happens if you don't believe in it. But it was the syntax is psychedelic.
Yeah, because you used the same phrase to work for both sentences. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's almost like he was being efficient or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But it's confusing as hell.
because
Yeah.
you don't usually put the subject at the end of a sentence.
yeah.
Right. Strange.
And he's going to pull out, by the way, he's going to pull out this quote from the Ratnamala which says, Yupapa. And I checked it and it's not wrong.
Is it believers?
Yeah, those who say things are,
Yeah.
go to the higher realms. Those who say things aren't, go to the lower realms.
No kidding.
But they
Nihilists.
both go to samsara.
Mm-hmm.
But they both go to samsara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, understood.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, yeah.
Is that true? If you believe things
Yeah, that's
Well, in a certain way.
in certain way?
Like if you believe in God,
Right.
do really good or meditate
No.
all the time.
right?
Yeah, it's like
Go
that.
to church all
Yeah,
the time.
it's like that. Okay.
Thank you.
Shi pugi joshi meto tam rira lingshi nyunde yenbani sangye shindu mikte uwargi joku namda shingla chupasho Yiram Guru Rana Mandala Kandya Dayami Di Kewo Kun Sunam Yeshe Tsotsok Shing Sunam Yeshe Le Jungwe Tamba Kuni Toban Show. I'll tell you what I told the people downstairs. Take a rest for 2 days, okay? Don't get all busy and don't try to...